Hello world, my name is Tim Roswick and welcome to the Dev Report, where we go over everything that happened last week in game dev. Right now, we got lots of cool stuff for you, and this is a different format. It was recorded live. If you want to see this live, you got to catch me live on stream, but for right now, we have a recorded video with plenty of commentary from the community. So here it is. Now, first up is the Google Stadia announcement. Ooh, who heard about this one? The future of gaming is not a box. All right, according to Google, they are launching a new platform where all of the games run in the cloud, and you can access your device, any device, a phone, a console, anything, can access games by live streaming the video footage directly to your box. Now, there's a lot of questions about this. There's a lot of questions because one, I think the thing on everybody's mind is twofold. One, what the hell is the monetization model here, right? How do they make? Is it a subscription service? Is it do you buy games in the cloud? What do you do? Second of all, because they say 4K HDR 60 FPS, how do you stream 4K at 60 FPS with zero latency? Right? Like, how do you do that? I think this is going to be interesting for indie games. I think there's a lot of stuff that I'm interested to see. And I think this definitely is one of the top ones for sure. I'm going to get rid of this little thing that's on the screen. That shouldn't be on the screen. There we go. Stadia is one of those things that like could change the way games work forever. But it's also one of those things that like could fuck over a lot of developers. Okay? I know everybody, when mobile games came out, everybody was pissed about oh my god, these games are 99 cents, they're free, their monetization model's free, like the future of gaming is dead, you can't charge $50 for a game anymore, and everybody was freaking out. But it just turned into a different, did it affect the game market? Sure, but it turned into like its own thing. What do you guys think? Why are you worried that it would be heavily curated? That might be a good thing, right? It'd be bad if the future of gaming didn't allow small devs to easily get on their platform. Tech that isn't really there yet. So there's been a lot of people that have mentioned that Stadia specifically is doing some trickery with their stuff. They did a demo at GDC, but people were saying that the demo was streaming to a server in like the other room. So that's how they got the latency so low. Across the actual internet, it might be difficult, right? Won't be for at least a couple years. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really announce a date or anything, but we'll see. We're going to move on. Epic's free online services launched for all game developers. This isn't the only piece of Epic news, but I thought this was interesting. I thought this was super, super interesting. Epic opened their online services for all games, not just Epic Games, which was interesting. 7K first month, grats. Thank you, dude. I don't have an estimate for the physical edition. As soon as it ships, I will release those numbers. No estimates. But this was interesting. So they've got a whole roadmap here that has player data storage, player reports, achievements, leaderboards, and stats, communications, overlay, parties, matchmaking, player identity, player inventory. This is interesting. They're going to have a lot of services, and it looks like their business model is to allow all developers to use it to hopefully compete with Steam, because Steam's stuff is only on Steam. And this looks like it will be cross-platform and allow people to use their services regardless of what platform they're on, which could be pretty huge. It would save a lot of port money and time. It would save a lot of headache. And it could be interesting. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh. Okay.
Do you have opinions of this?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. That's your opinion?
Yeah.
All right, so Discord evolves verified servers with the new community tools. I don't know if you guys heard. I don't know if you all heard about that, but Discord verification. This is a new feature of Discord. So you can verify your Discord server, okay? And then you can sell your game directly from your server. including DLC and all kinds of stuff. Like, it integrates just like this, which is pretty fucking epic. And it gets better because there's pretty much no requirements to verify. All you have to do is like have a email. What I need to qualify. Verified server requirements. Let's check this out. The applicant must both be the owner of the server and the official representative of the game team artist that is applying, which most of us are, right? The applicant should include as much relevant information as possible to help us verify the validity of the application, which is simple. You got to prove that you're, you know, who you say you are. The applicant should use a formal email address related to the game studio team artist, which basically means if you're like Some Dudes Games, you have to have at somedudesgames.com on your email. And the server should have a channel and role structure outlined in moderation guidelines, which is just to make sure it all works together. That's not a lot of shit at all. For what it actually includes, that's pretty fucking sweet, right? I'm pretty happy with that. I haven't verified my server, but as I do, I'll probably make YouTube videos about it because I'm super excited about this. The whole Discord verification is a pretty thing. Do we have any questions on that? You guys, any questions or opinions? What do we think? Will it take a cut? As far as I know, Discord charges 10% of game sales when you sell your game on Discord. So, I believe that probably still applies. It doesn't say that anywhere though. Yeah, no, 10% is way better than Steam's 30%. Although I got to shout out Itch. They allow you to set your own cut, and I said 0%. Like, I feel bad about that because I feel like old Itch.io deserves some of the money there because I thought it was actually going to affect my launch numbers. But hey, you know, as a dev, you got to do what you got to do. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's going to be a recurring theme. Next up, games and software hardware to top $200 billion by 2023. Despite short-term questions. I don't know what the short-term questions were, but 200 billion. Billion with a B. Billion with a B. Billion. Okay? Anybody that says, there's nobody buying games anymore, you're incorrect. $200 billion by 2023. I always find this stuff interesting because indies have this very pessimistic view. And I shouldn't generalize and say all indies, but the majority that I seem to come across on the internet, on Reddit, on forums and stuff like that is like they make jokes about how poor they are and about how it's impossible to make a living at game dev. And even though I don't do it yet, I believe it's possible and I'm going to continue to do it and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. And so I always like to share stuff like this where it's like 200 billion by 2023. I think that's pretty fucking great. Games are bigger than movies and music combined. It is like the entertainment of the future. And even movies, you see the recent stuff with Bandersnatch? That shit's a movie, but it's interactive movie, right? It's changing. The way that we do things is changing. And we got to get on board. Interactive entertainment is the future. Show me the way Tim Rusk fall. Okay, well, you know, watch this channel called Game Dev Underground. I share all my shit there. All right, we got any questions or opinions on this? I can't really answer questions about this, but we got opinions? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I think games will change but never go away. Yeah, everything has to evolve. If it's not evolving, it's dying. That's like life. You look at how fucking cells work. If you're not growing and evolving, you're literally dying. Okay? You see Valve's GDC talk? No. Salary in game dev studios is shit compared to business development. I think you either go indie or go write business software. We were talking about that before. Like, if you have the skills to make a game, you can make way more in software development. Or any specialized field that uses the same skill set that game dev does. But I think we're all here because we love it, right? So it's not like whether you can make more in game dev. I don't think you can make more in game dev. But can you make a living doing something you love? That's the question. And I think the answer to that is yes. And I plan on doing it. And my objective with like the Game Dev Underground for the next couple of years is to build a game business live on YouTube and show you guys how it's done. If I can get my game revenue above what I spend every month, Success, man. We're not there yet, but we're getting there, and I'll share every step of the way. All right, next up on the list, Microsoft's diskless. I had to pronounce that word very carefully because I've slipped up before. Microsoft's diskless Xbox One S gets a name and launch date. Now, if you haven't heard about the diskless Xbox, there will be no dick jokes here. This is interesting. So I know as a kid, my dream was always to have a physical copy, and I made that happen with Phalophobia. But this is a diskless console. Okay, this is a diskless console. That's interesting. That's interesting. They're going to cut out retailers and GameStop and Walmart and Target and all of those places. And the only way to buy games is going to be through the Microsoft Store. I don't like this idea. Going to kill the secondhand game sales like GameStop, Trading Games. Okay, so as a consumer, I agree. That sucks. I bought a bunch of used games. Matter of fact, I almost exclusively buy used games because I don't buy all that many games anymore. But the only exception to when I don't buy used games is games I know I'm going to play over and over, like Destiny. I played so many hours in Destiny, so I just bought a digital copy of Destiny 2 because I was like, I'm going to play a bunch. But as game developers, you got to realize when you release a game and it's sitting on a shelf and somebody buys a used copy instead of a new copy, your own game is competing with your own game. Okay, so you just lost a sale. You lost a game sale because somebody bought a used copy. So as a developer that's trying to make money from these things we call games, that's a bad move. Like, plenty of games are competing with my game. I don't need my game competing with my game too. Okay? That's got to be shitty. Now, that being said, do I want to put big old Microsoft in charge of everything? Probably not, right? I don't really trust Microsoft as a massive ass. I don't think anyone will buy a used indie game. Well, that goes into the existential question of what is an indie game. Is Hollow Knight an indie game? Even though it's got more artists and talent and budget than I've ever had on any of my games combined. Right? But people buy used copies of Hollow Knight. Like, where is that spectrum at? You can't define it. So I think that blanket statement is incorrect. All right, next up. Valve plans Steam facelift with a library redesign and new events page. Okay, this is huge, and let me tell you why. Steam looks the same as it looked 10 years ago. Okay? Steam still looks the fucking same. And look, I don't blame them. As a former marketer, okay? As a former marketer, when you find a layout or something that works for click-through rates and for things like that, it's important that you stick to it. And Steam can actually lose revenue by changing their page layout. The fact that they're gonna change their page layout means that they found something that works better. And I promise that. Okay, I promise you they are not just gonna be like, oh, well, I hope it works better. They've tested the shit out of this, okay? They're a billion-dollar company. This layout is going to make them more money, which means it's going to sell more games. Okay, you may not like how it looks, but I promise you it's going to be more performative. Steam is not changing this on a whim. Okay, they are 100% sure this is going to perform better, or they would not release it. They can lose millions of dollars if they just, oh, well, let's try a new design. No. Okay, that's not going to happen. I've worked with big companies like that, and it's a rigorous testing process. All right, we're gonna take some questions. Caller, you're on the air.
I don't know. I don't really like this because I think the old design is really cool and retro, and I wouldn't like them to change it.
You know, for what reason? Just from like a visual perspective, or from like a I can't find games anymore kind of thing? You broke him. I broke him. I'm always down for people changing stuff. I'm always down for interesting new stuff. And like I said, the only reason I'm behind this is because, one, I don't think it's going to sell less games. It's going to sell more games, right? And if it sells more games, that's better for developers. It's better for Steam, but it's better for developers. I don't know, man. Nah, we're just fucking with you, Box. I feel bad because I still don't think I can pronounce your name. Pyry. Pierre. You've told me 1,000 times, and I still... It's all good. I think it's a good thing. It's going to make a lot of people angry. They're not going to be able to find stuff. It's going to be crazy, but like, yo, you guys seen Steam lately? So store... Okay, this is what's considered above the fold in marketing speak, which means this is what the majority of people see. Most people don't do this. They really don't. So look at this. Pretty much all somebody's seeing when they open Steam is this. Ubisoft gets all the sales. They get all the sales. All the sales. All of them. We don't get none. They get them all. So the rest, I would say it's close to 30 to 50% people don't even scroll down on stuff like this. They literally don't. I've done hundreds of tests on this stuff, and they don't. So experimentation on a new layout, I think this is interesting, the whole curator thing. Discovery queue is good. Like I'm all good for Steam trying a bunch of stuff out. I would be interested to see how long it's been since they've had a refresh on the store part. Questions or opinions, and we're gonna start with Gnome. Gnomero, I mean, not Gnome. His name is Gnomero. All right, Gnomero, you are on the air.
I have some opinions on the Epic versus Steam all shenanigans. I published Forgiveness on Steam last month, and I'm so moving to Epic on my next game.
Really? Why?
If you open Epic Store, they are doing everything correctly. You go to purchase a game, and they give you the option to put some creator coupons. So if you collab with a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or whatever, they can give you a coupon. So it can do some nice marketing strategies, and you can subscribe to the developer email list when you buy the game.
I saw that. That was pretty sweet. The whole Epic launcher thing.
I actually love it. So I think they're doing so much better than Steam does. I love Steam. I'm a big fan of Steam, but Epic is doing everything correctly in my book. So I think I'm gonna move to Epic.
They're also curated right now though, because I sent them an email about Fathophobia, and
I did too.
Have you heard back from them at all?
They sent me an email that saying this is not a rejection, Q1 and Q2.
They're like, yeah, pretty much. We're not going to talk to you for like 6 months, but thank you for applying.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, that being said, okay, so they got a shit ton of traffic, right? And if you can manage to get past the curation, this is kind of like Steam was 10 years ago, right? You were guaranteed sales just by ending up on the platform. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing. I think Steam is going to shit ever since they opened it up to everybody, because now like you've got all the asset flips, you got all the stuff that is just really low quality. You got the get rich quick people trying to just flip stuff, and the soul of so many games are gone now. But
I really want to test something. I want to make a game in Unreal, or maybe get Kindred to post his game and see if they take the games that made with Unreal.
Yeah, that would be a good test. We got to get Kindred in on that, because if you make a game in Unreal, are they more likely to take it? That's that's in their best interest to do.
They ask in the submission, what engine did you use? So
that's a good insight, dude. That's a good insight.
I don't know. Could be.
It's interesting that you say that, because you said you were making decent enough revenue with Forgiveness.
I am. I made.
You're still gonna switch, huh?
I don't want to brag, but I made more than Philophobia. I saw your video.
Ooh.
I made more I released in the 28th, but I did reach out to influencers. Press,
Interesting.
You didn't.
And you're still
So-
gonna switch, huh?
I still gonna
Really?
switch, unless Steam wake up. Maybe I'm gonna do like free for all, put on Discord, on Edge, on I don't know. DRM is actually. I thought it was quite important, so I wanted to go with Steam, but you know it will get hacked and put
Yeah.
online anyway.
That's what I
So-
figured. Cool. All right. Any other closing thoughts?
No, thank you for having
All
me.
right. No problem. Thanks for dropping your opinion. We're gonna go to Wendrick. Will, how are you?
I am doing great. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fantastic.
Hooray! So kind of to continue this conversation that was started about the Unreal Store and Steam and all that. I thought it was really interesting. I went through like into the Unreal Store when it was announced to like take a look at the submission process. And I thought it was really interesting that they had like for the engines, they had 3 options, right? They had Unreal Engine, Unity, and other,
Yeah.
right? And Epic has really been trying to position itself above Unity, right?
Yeah.
So it seems likely to me that they would favor Unreal Engine games that well, not only that they would favor those games, but that they might also intentionally disadvantage Unity developers. And I was wondering if you might have any ideas on that.
I think it's safe to assume that they're going to favor Unreal. It's in their best interest to do it. It's just that's what I would do if I was a company and somebody was using my engine. Like I would just, even if I didn't want to, I think there would just be like a bias there, you know,
yeah.
like automatically. Just I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're gonna favor it in some way. You know what's interesting though is I've been paying attention to their marketing, and you're right. It's not so much, hey guys, we have a cool store. It almost seems anti-Unity.
What do you mean by that?
So like, remember when the whole thing went down with that multiplayer plugin, Spatial OS?
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, their PR team jumped on that shit. And they were like, we've have a big, huge fund for devs that want to. They said some stuff like make open multiplayer games, or like should be open to like do the things they want to do without restrictions of the engine. Like everything that they said wasn't so much pro Epic; it was more like anti Unity.
Yeah.
So they seem to be jumping on that train, which interesting though, because I've also been paying attention to like the consumer thoughts and stuff. And on Reddit, the general opinion seems to be very negative towards Epic for the whole exclusive stuff that they're doing. They're pulling a lot of games away from Steam with the exclusive access. Like they did that with Division 2. They did that with a couple of different titles. A lot of gamers are upset about that. And there's starting to, like, a meme culture is emerging of like, Epic is like the bad guy and they're doing everything wrong.
Do you think that the kind of anti-Unity slant on Reddit is going to have any influence on that, or how do you think that's going to play?
I actually think that's really smart marketing. Unity gets a bunch of bad press. You jump on the bad press with some good stuff. I think that was smart on their part. I don't think that's going to hurt Unity. Unity's like the Microsoft or the Steam. I don't really think they, at least not for years, do they have a chance of actually being close to Steam. But the whole gamer thing is what I'm worried about, because if they end up in that spotlight, you know, look at EA, right? EA could come out like, dude, they could come out with the best, most consumer-friendly practices, the best game, and they have such a shit reputation at this point with gamers. They would shit all over it. It's just, I think their reputation is gone to that point. It would take years to repair that. So
Wait, whose reputation?
like EA's reputation with like gamers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like worst company 5 years in a row, all kinds of stuff. So it's going to take years to repair that kind of stuff. If Epic ends up in that spot, which they're not there yet, but they're headed there. A lot of people are upset. If you just pay attention to our gaming, you'll see all kinds of Epic hate about the exclusives and stuff.
Yeah.
If they go down that path, that's going to be rough, because it's hard to get out of a PR nightmare like that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get like the whole kind of anti-Unity culture from Epic. Like, I have the privilege of living in the same city as Epic Games, and so I go to their meetups and stuff. And a bunch of the people there know that I do like tools development on the Unity side, and they're constantly trying to recruit me. Like,
Really?
come on, why don't you come help us make some tools over at Epic, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean,
That's
I don't know
interesting.
I feel like they're trying to get every advantage they can right now. And I can't blame them for that. You know, Unity has like, 5 times as many downloads as Unreal Engine or something like that. So
I read they had close to like 60 or 70% market share on the game engines.
yeah.
So-
Unity is like, it's just been crushing it. But I think that a lot of people kind of see Unity as like kind of a hobbyist engine or something.
Yeah.
And I get this not only from people who are new to game development, but it's like people who are new to game development and people who have been in game development for a very long time, but not so much people in the middle, right? Like people
Yeah.
like me who like got into game development kind of when Unity came out, don't tend to see it that way. I don't know. I don't know, like, if you think that that's going to over time cause Unity's install base to shrink or Epic's to grow relative to it. What might be your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm down with their marketing. I'm down with, like, they are the underdog, right? And I think it takes a smart marketer to realize that, okay, we're not going to pretend like we're on top. And so they're using the underdog marketing tactics, which I think are great. What I'm not sure about is the way that they're going about acquiring users. Because, look, I think one of the main reasons that Steam got popular in the first place was because, hey, this is a store where all of my games are, right? From everywhere, from all the publishers. That's cool. That's a USP all by itself. Epic is doing the opposite of that now. And there are all kinds of memes and stuff on our gaming, like, okay, now you need Origin, now you need Steam, now you need Epic Games Launcher, now you need this and that. There's like 5 or 10 of them now. It's kind of ridiculous. So, I don't know. We'll see. I wish I was as smart as the guys that run Epic. I'm probably not. There's probably something I don't see. But it'll be interesting to watch, for sure. And I like that they have a curated store from a developer's perspective.
Yeah, I do too. Like, that was really attractive to me. Although I've also kind of been bitten by that. Like, when I released Heli Havoc, I released it on Itch.io. I remember very clearly. And within like 4 hours, it was buried on like page 70 beneath like goat sex or something like that.
Goat sex.
It was
Whoa.
just some like horrible, like, yeah. And I sent an email to Itch.io like complaining like, hey, this is a legitimate game that I spent months making, and then it's like buried underneath these like terrible things. And they were like, yeah, well, we can't help you. Right. So like, I've kind of been bitten by that like curation before, people maybe not giving me a chance because I didn't have a ton of games released at the time, or because the game has bright colors in it, so they think it's for little kids or whatever.
I think too, there's a bias there, and this is something that, like, when I was writing a book, I noticed too. Years ago, I wanted to write a book, and I sent a letter to a bunch of different publishers, and I heard back from nobody. I got an agent. I messed around with stuff. I just tried to get a publisher for my job. Nobody. Now that I have, I'm not some massive dude. I got 40,000 people on YouTube. I have somewhat of a community. I've gotten multiple emails from publishers that say, hey, we want to publish your book. Like, it's like the bank loan phenomenon, right? Like, banks won't loan you money until you don't need them to loan you money.
Right.
And the curation thing, I feel like, is similar. Like, if they're 100% sure, like Division 2, that game wasn't going to go unnoticed, right? That's why they had it an exclusive. They knew people were going to move specifically to the platform because of how big the game was. And so I think there is a risk of, with a curated platform, them favoring people with audiences, with reach, with popularity, versus good games. But even if they don't, like, that brings up the whole existential question of what is a good game, right? When somebody says something like, Tim, have you played Goat Simulator? That sounds like the last game that I ever want to play in my life. But millions of people played that. And if I was a curator in a store, like Minecraft, dude, I probably would not have allowed Minecraft in my store 10 years ago. Or Farmville, right? Like, I'd be like, no, these games are stupid. And then they sell millions, right? So who decides that? That's one of those questions. And I think one of the best ways to actually, with the numbers, define what's popular, what's not, is like literally demand. And one of the things that I kind of undercut, but I realized, because I had the same experience with Itch, as soon as we launched the game, I tweeted them and I asked them if I could get featured. But I think one of the things I just thought of now is that immediately after I did that, I had my entire live stream Twitch chat go and comment and retweet and do that. And so that tweet immediately got like 20 retweets and tons of messages and tons of like follow-up and basically user demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that had something to do with it too. I didn't even realize that until just now when we were talking.
Yeah, because I was in the opposite situation, you know, nobody knew who I was,
Right.
and I was like trying to make rent, you know, so it was tough. I mean, and that kind of leads into like the discoverability thing in general. Like, what do you think is the best? Like, I know this is such a generic, like, kind of, like, do you think that discoverability is going to continue to deteriorate, or do you think it will get better for some reason?
I think discoverability has always been up to the artist, and I think it's becoming more so that because there's so much noise, and so you have to figure out a way to increase your signal to noise ratio as an artist. That's why I believe that, right? That's why we're sitting here right now, because I'm on Game Dev Underground, and years ago I was like, okay, I want to build a game business. I like helping people. I'm going to leverage what I'm good at to build an audience to do what I love, right? So I have an audience now because I want to help people, and I happen to be good at the whole YouTube thing, but two, specifically because I thought game development by itself was too risky. So I didn't take the risk. Right? I mean, it hasn't been an easy journey the past couple of years at all, but I chose specifically to build a business around something that I thought was viable versus actual games themselves, because games are so risky. Any kind of entertainment is risky, and that's how you see all these movies that have these big budgets. The way that movie studios choose movies is not by, okay, we're going to pick 10 games and invest in 10 games or 10 movies and hope they all make a profit. No, like one or two of those movies does really fucking well. The rest of them lose money.
Yeah.
Right? That's how game publishers work. That's how movie producers work. That's how all these different people work. Startup investors, all kinds of stuff. So that tells you about the risk of entertainment right there. And I think if you want to build a game business or an entertainment business, I think you have to take the whole getting eyeballs thing into your own hands, which is going to be an unpopular opinion, but that's mine.
No, I think that's totally valid. And like, I mean, I couldn't make it as just a game development company either. Like, my game flopped, you know, even though I poured my heart and soul into it. Like, I was only able to turn a profit by doing outsourcing work, essentially. And like,
yeah,
I think I read recently an article about a guy who like made 30 games in 2 years and like made $1 million. And he said that almost none of his games made any money.
Yeah.
Right? But then like just like a couple of games made all of the money, right? And he like went through kind of like, and he wasn't making high quality games either, right? He was making these like, you know, cookie clicker clones and like you know, match 3 games and stuff like, and like little simple platformers that he would hire a programmer to make and then would reskin like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. And
that,
I would agree. That's my whole philosophy moving forward. Like, I am the guy that took 4 years to make a platformer, but I learned from that shit, right? Like, okay, Phasmophobia did 7K first month, right? That is nowhere near profitable for a 4-year game.
yeah.
That's not even like people say, oh, no, that's fucking stupid, okay? But what if I can make that same amount with a game I put 3 months into? Suddenly that is a livable wage, right?
I would say 3 months would be too slow.
I mean, it's livable though. It's not going to be super comfortable, but it's livable.
Yeah.
And if you can
Okay.
do it livable, you can work on the next game.
Ramen profitability.
Yeah, exactly. So there's whole and then too, like, you know, if you live somewhere like Florida, the living cost is a third of something in like Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
My rent in LA was more than my entire month's expenses in Florida. So if that doesn't tell you what it is, I don't know what does. Like, so I mean, there are ways to do it. They're not, a lot of them aren't gonna be comfortable. Like I said, I spent 2 years building this audience and I still lose money every month. I mean, granted, not this month because of the little game launch, but as far as like the Game Dev Underground thing, it's not fucking easy to do. And I spent a lot of the last 2 months doing the same thing you did, freelance and stuff, building apps and web applications and weird, stupid games that I don't think should exist. But you got to do what you got to do if you want to make that happen. And I don't know. I just think marketing gets a bad rap, and the whole, it's just, I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not, but you have to integrate it into your art form. You have to look as marketing as a feature of your game, right? It's not something you do afterwards. It's not something you do last minute. It's like a part of the process.
Yeah. So you don't really see. So do you or do you not think that like the game is some way its own marketing? Because this is something I hear a lot from people, like, oh, I just have to build a game and people will play it, right?
Right. Oh, let me show you something, dude. Reddit or Game Dev. So somebody posted my my revenue video, and then somebody commented on the revenue video and they showed their revenue, and they made $40,000 in 2 months.
Whoa.
40,000, and their max payment was 100. And this blew my mind. I want to get this guy on some fucking shit. And so I looked up his game, and it's got this, it's a beautiful like world building. I don't even know if it's a game. It looks like a tool, but it's like a terrain generator, but it looks fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that the way his stuff looked helped him out? Absolutely. Let's go through his profile. Let me see if I can show it. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I'd love to see this example.
Yeah.
Do you think that he did any external marketing to like pull people into it?
He says that he only did subreddits, and he says exactly what he does. I'll link the thing in the chat right now if you guys want to check out the actual post. But yeah, so maybe we should get him on.
Yeah, get him on. I'd
channel.
love to like really drill down into this.
Totally, especially since he's willing to share his revenue. I 100% want to encourage people to share their revenue. Okay, so this is it right here. Flowscape. This fucking shit looks insane.
Wow.
Insane. And it's like I said, it looks more like a tool than a game. And then this is $10. This looks like one of those tools that you would spend like $300 at a major studio for, right? So do I think that this product had anything to do with the sales? Hell yes. But if he made 40K with no marketing, I think marketing would be a massive multiplier on the sales he did.
Yeah.
Right? If he can make, like, this thing looks beautiful. This is like super marketable, and I think I would have sold it for way more than $10. Way more than $10. But that's me, and he did more revenue than me, so I can't really talk. He did, he fucking pulled this shit off. So hats off to him. But yeah, I think marketing is a multiplier on what you do. I don't think it is. I don't want to say necessary or required because I don't want to give people the wrong idea of. I think it is, and I think you get 0 by default, and you should expect 0 by default, and you should work that hard to get people to see your stuff. But at the same time, like, I think it's an equation. It's like how good is your game times how good is your marketing, right?
Yeah.
And you can sell a shitty game with good marketing, and you can sell a really good game with shitty marketing. But what happens if you make a really good game with good marketing?
Yeah. I mean, that's like they're so different in terms of like skill set, though, right? Like,
Yeah, very much.
nothing I do in game development even remotely applies to marketing.
And I learned that lesson the hard way on Phalophobia because I was like, oh, I did all this marketing stuff for a while. But then being in the dev mode for 2 months, it was like a train wreck trying to switch my brain to like marketing mode. Like, not only did I not have the time, but like my clarity was gone. I just didn't have it in me to like switch to marketing mode, even if I had the time. And that was a lot harder than I thought it was. That was an interesting lesson to learn. And I'm glad I did, because I think that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the Phalophobia Steam launch too, is because the game is done. I got a couple integrations here and there to do and bugs to fix, but I'm going to take my sweet ass time with the marketing for the Steam launch, and we'll see what I can actually do with good marketing.
Yeah, that I think will be really interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I don't want to consume too much of your stream, though.
I think this could be our own podcast, man.
Good.
All right. We got a couple more news stories to move on to, and we'll keep it moving. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. See you. Check this out. A dev trained robots to generate garbage slot machine games and made $50,000. Who wants to do that? You train robots to generate garbage slot machine games and make $50K. What the fuck? I found this super interesting. Now this happened a long time ago, so I don't think this is viable anymore. 2013, actually. And, guys, let's not add to the garbage problem on mobile. Okay, there's a lot of garbage there. But this is interesting. Maybe this goes with the whole quantity versus quality type of thing. Would be better to train robots to kill all humans? What? What? Is your name Skynet? 1,500 apps. By offering the largest target of low-quality garbage apps, these marketplaces became optimized to remove our content. You almost say that our company trained their algorithms so that what we were doing could eventually not be possible. That's interesting. It's still happening. Yeah, maybe not by these guys, but this general idea is still happening. I just think it's sad. I don't even want to say it out loud on Zoom. You can say, I don't know, man. How about that? No, it's pretty sad. I would never do this. And you know what's interesting is these stories inspire a lot of people to do this. They really do. I get emails from people every once in a while about, hi Tim, I'm looking to make money on the internet. I read an article about apps that are super valuable. I was wondering if I can hire you to make an app to go viral. And I'm just like, what do they want to clone Flappy Bird and you want me to make it go viral? Like what? Yeah, anyway, that's moving on. Microsoft unveils new indie game showcase called ID at Xbox Game Pass. This article was confusing the 3 times I read it, so I don't really know what all happened. But apparently this video showcases ID at Xbox Game Pass. And there's no highlight yet. But whatever. Basically, from what I understand, unlike Microsoft's other video program, Inside Xbox, which is more news-oriented. ID at Xbox Game Pass will offer fans a glimpse at some of the hottest ID at Xbox games coming to Game Pass. We pack with new reveals, gameplay highlights, and developer conversations. So this seems like it's going to be a video. Comes out once a month or something like that. And they're going to showcase the new games that come out on ID at Xbox, but only on Game Pass. So that seems weird. But I found it interesting. There's going to be a video that comes out about games that come out in ID Xbox but are also on Game Pass. So that's... Next up, we got Overwatch saw 40% less disruptive behavior with the endorsement system. Now, this was interesting because what Overwatch did is they created a system to allow other people to endorse players. So 2 social features mentioned above include endorsements designed to reward positive behavior, good sportsmanship, supportive teammate, etc., conveyed through a level system. And looking for group gave players the option to link up with other players who had similar playstyle. So basically, they were saying we don't want Tim Russwicks playing Overwatch because I do some dumb shit when I play video games. But they found that behavior was less disruptive when they had a level up endorsement system, which I find super interesting because the toxicity of the gaming community is redonkulous. A lot of games have gotten super toxic. Matter of fact, in recent years, I remember when Xbox Live came out on first Xbox, everybody used headsets. It was just like the thing to do. Fast forward to like a couple years ago, like no, if you find somebody that uses a headset, it's like ridiculous, especially on Xbox. Maybe not PC so much, but you know, I found this was interesting. So if you're making a social game or a multiplayer game, some kind of behavior endorsement system might be up your alley. Up your alley. Next up, Walmart is looking to enter the game streaming business. Y'all want to be on that? Y'all want to be on that Walmart stream? All right, y'all want to pay a monthly subscription to Walmart? Get in on game streaming? I don't know, man. Old Walmart there. Fucking Walmart. Everyone, I know, Jason, this is like the fucking thing to do right now. If once Walmart enters the business, you know, it's over. Google stole the show at GDC earlier this week when it unveiled a new game streaming platform called Stadia, and fresh rumors suggest another big name might soon follow suit. According to the folks over at US Gamer, American retailer Walmart is also interested in setting up a game streaming platform of its very own. Yes, Walmart. It goes without saying that you should take this one with a hearty pinch of the finest sea salt, but anonymous sources familiar with Walmart's plan claim the company is pushing ahead with the idea and has already been speaking with developers and publishers to gauge interest. No other details were revealed, so we have no idea whether development on the platform has even started or if the company is just floating the concept of interested parties. Still, it's a fascinating notion at the very least that Walmart definitely has the finances and technology to match its ambition. Just have to look at the company's massive 125,000 square foot data center at the edge of Missouri, which has been dubbed Area 71. Retailer has apparently explored the prospect of building a video game streaming service a la Netflix, but according to CNBC, apparently deemed the prospect too risky. We'll have to wait and see whether it feels game streaming is more viable endeavor. Who wants their game on the Walmart? Y'all want to get on... Forget the Epic Game Store, yo. Let's get our shit on Walmart. Let's... You know what, though? Okay, we make jokes aside. Check us out. If there's one place that's good at selling a shit ton of a product at super low price, it's Walmart. Okay? And I know for a fact, anybody that gets their product in Walmart... excluding all the bullshit like how they specifically order lower quality versions of products and all that stuff. I can't confirm any of that. But I know for a fact that companies I used to work with, marketing wise, if they were retail and they got their shit in Walmart, that was almost like getting on Steam 10 years ago. It was like guaranteed sales. It was pretty cray-cray. They usually do test runs and stuff, but Walmart is looking to enter the game streaming business, boys and girls. Who would put their game on Walmart? Fuck Walmart. Walmart gonna sell phone games that was made in a week. Oh, it's that every game store is gonna get like that eventually. I would sell to Walmart. I would do it. I would do it for the science. I would do it for the science. Y'all don't want that Walmart? I have no shame. Fuck Walmart, but I'd release my game at Walmart. I would do that. I found that story interesting. Soldier Boy console? I would take Walmart over the Soldier Boy console. Being on that CVS pharmacy game streaming up. Yo, Troy, let's start a startup company, okay? When you go to get your prescription, you got to sit around and wait, right? What if we had a game platform right there where you sit and you wait for your pills? Aw shit, man. Aw shit. IKEA, build your own console. Oh, fun stuff. Fun stuff. All right. Oh, this is the stuff I looked up. Yeah, this is beautiful. All right, that is the end of our discussions. Now, if I missed anything, feel free to link some stuff that you guys want to talk about in the chat. Or if you have questions or opinions outside of that, feel free to say what up. Unity distribution portal. Create once, publish everywhere. UDP reduces the engineering complexities associated with publishing to multiple app stores, enables you to distribute and operate games in local markets, and connects you with hundreds of millions of players worldwide through participating app stores. This is interesting. Does it say what stores? What the fuck are these stores? I've never heard of any of these stores. One Store, Geo Game Store, Catapult, Moo Store. Okay, I thought this was gonna be like... What? I thought this was gonna be like Android and iOS and like... What? Okay, that's cool, I guess. We can go to Moo Store. I've never heard of any of these. Oh, second largest app store in Korea. Yeah, it looks like they're all probably outside the US. 280 million. I mean, granted, these are big numbers, right? 45 million, 280 million. But compared to like Google Play, billions? Private payment methods use 90% of game players in Southeast Asia. Okay. I mean, if they can make it easy, right? You can click one button and go to all these different stores. Why would you not? Why would you not? But I'm just saying, I never heard any of these. But this is interesting. This maybe is a start to something cool, right? It's good if you want to target. Well, you know what? Okay, so I'm in the United States, right? When I think about making games, I don't even think about translating the games or targeting the Asian markets. But you look at the Asian market, that shit's way bigger than the United States market, right? Than the American market. It's way bigger. Way bigger. So, from a business perspective, this makes absolute sense. I've never done it before. I don't know where to start on all that. But, you know, I've read rumors that the Diablo Immortal, was built specifically for the China market. Conceptually, I agree. But at the same time, like, dude, we were just talking about... Fucking, where's the slot machine game? Did I close that thing down? A fucking robot generated garbage slot machine games and pushed them 1,500 games. If you don't think that shit's gonna happen with this store, you was incorrect. Right? This is gonna make that problem worse. Right? This is gonna... we're gonna make it easier to publish your shit, quality shit everywhere, instantly. I don't know anything about publishing in international markets, so I guess I probably shouldn't air the old Tim Ruswick opinion on that. Tim Ruswick should just shut the fuck up when he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. Godot 3.1 was released too. That's older news, but we can talk about that because I messed with Godot, as I like to call it. 3.1 is pretty sweet. I really fucking like their node system. Okay, I really like it. And they have visual scripting, which is pretty sweet too. The problem with Godot, I will tell you right now, this engine is super powerful, it's super amazing, but pretty much every tutorial and every piece of documentation that you follow from the last couple years doesn't work anymore. It's been really hard for me to learn because none of the tutorials work anymore. The documentation seems like it's up to date, but it's not that great. Like, there's not code snippets and shit for a lot of the examples. You like Godot, Will? I like Godot too. So like your first game, right? I was following this, and this is okay, but like this is kind of hard to read, and like there's not anywhere near as much. Like the way that I like to learn stuff is like to download a working project and figure out what works why, and there's nothing really like that. And this is pretty much the only thing that I found on in their entire documentation that has like a working game project. There's like one, and all the tutorials I found don't work anymore. So not knocking Godot. I love it, actually. I really, really like it a lot. I think it's amazing. I just wish it had better documentation, because it's amazing. What? Epic Games said during GDC presentation day that there are 85 million registered users on the Epic Games Store on PC, and according to user surveys from August 2018 to January 2019, 40% of them report not having Steam. Although Valve has not recently reported the total number of Steam accounts registered, in January the company reported 90 million active users on Steam. That's interesting to me. That's interesting. That's interesting. According to a survey, Epic performs 68% of Epic Store users don't use Steam regularly, a figure that seems awfully high given Steam's decade-plus dominance on the platform. But the multi-platform Fortnite is the X factor here. The slide also said that more Epic PC users regularly play on consoles than on Steam. There are 55,000 registered curators on the Epic Games Store and 41 million players supporting them across all games, including Fortnite on all platforms. So Epic and Steam are almost even. Okay, no. 85 million registered users is not the same as 90 million active Steam users. Okay? Registered users are people with accounts. Active users are people that log in multiple times a week or a month. Okay? So that's misleading right there, the way that they're trying to make that comparison. Active users are way more valuable than registered users. We were talking about this earlier, so they actually intend to keep it curated. That's interesting. Tim Sweeney, the founder of Epic, says that they don't believe in the anything goes approach of Steam. That's interesting to me. We can't accommodate everyone yet. Sorry, we're working around the clock to be able to support more games. Epic Store will gradually open to more developers by the end of 2019. We welcome quality games and intend to prevent porn and asset flips from ever hitting the store. Really? Against porn and asset flips, I think active users from the startups that I consulted with, most of the time it was like they've logged in within the last 30 days. They're considered active. So I think it's pretty safe to say that they're pretty high at this point with Division 2 and with a lot of the custom games that have come on, and Fortnite generally. Well, yeah, it looks like maybe they're not going to allow adult games at all. Didn't Steam just make the announcements like within the last 6 months or something that they were going to allow adult games? I forget about that. I remember hearing something about it, but so it does seem to be a direct shot at Unity or at Steam. But it's interesting that they're specifically saying porn games and asset flips. They're never going to hit the store. And then this brings up the question, what is an asset flip? If you use assets from the Unity store, is that an asset flip? Or at what point does it stop being an asset flip and start being a game? You know, like that's a weird. I guess that's part of the curation process. I don't know how you define an asset flip. I mean, like it's one of those things that like you know when you see it, right? Like if you play one of these, there's like these stupid survival games that just like drag and drop trees and then they put you in a square map and you have to like, and there's like these enemies that run at you with like no animation and then you shoot like that. One, to me that looks like an asset flip, but what if that's some dude's first game and he tried really, really hard on that and he like put a lot of work into it, right? Is it still an asset flip even though he like took a year to develop that? I mean, I don't think it belongs on a curated store, right? But I don't know. How do you define that? Epic says it'll eventually stop pushing for exclusives. Well, they fucking better because the gamers are starting to hate them. Latest deals will bring Outer Worlds and Control to Epic Games Store, not the PC's largest distributor, Steam. These are the latest in a string of exclusivity deals that Epic feels are necessary to challenge Steam, paired with an 88% revenue share for developers, at least if they self-publish, which it believes they should replace Steam's 70% rate industry-wide, which it already has because Discord matched this and they're now 10%. So that's great. I would love to see Steam make an announcement and say, we're now only taking 10%. I don't think that'll happen though. Steam's still a big dog. For those frustrated by the recent wave of exclusives, relief may be in sight. During a GDC 2019 Q&A panel today, Epic Games Store head of Steve Allison said that Epic won't keep doing this forever. I don't think we plan on to negotiate exclusives forever, he said. We'll probably do it for a while. It's just a pushing the business model, helping people thrive, but at the same point, hopefully people just come or the industry moves down and matches us. I understand the sentiment about it, so I'm pretty sensitive to how I answer this question. But the answer is yes, at some point we could get to 0, or we could go to very, very few major exclusives in any given year. We definitely not be doing this on a scale we're doing it now for an extended period of time. Okay. Like, I get it, right? And I think it's unfair the hate that Epic's getting a lot over this because Xbox and PS4 have been doing this forever, man. Sony and Microsoft been the fucking warriors of this shit. I feel like Sony's worse than Microsoft is, but they're still fucking bad at this shit, man. I think that hurts everybody. I mean, it helps the consoles, but it's anti-consumer. Like, I would buy Horizon Zero Dawn. Bart, you just bought you just bought a PS4, exactly. You bought a PS4 because of the exclusives, and they know that. But I think that's like anti-consumer in a way. I mean, I understand from a business perspective why they do it. You don't have to install 5 storefronts on your Xbox just to manage your games, though. But I would if I could get other games, Will. Like, if I could install the PS4 storefront on my Xbox to get Horizon Zero Dawn, I would. I'd prefer that to just not being able to get it. And that's all we got for you today. Thank you guys very much for coming out and hanging out for the Dev Report. It's been wonderful. It's been awesome. And like I said, if you want to catch me live, you can do so. Just hit up the links in the description and check out my schedule. I'll see you there.